Hey, my Pilates people, welcome to my channel, Connect and Move. My name is Jessica. Today I have for you a really deep, intentional, focused classic reformer session. So moving at a decent pace, but taking our time to set up the move and like really get deep into the work. So we utilize all of our muscles, we feel all the things that we're trying to feel and get the most out of the reps that we do. So before we get too much into this session, I do have a favor for you. If you would please like this video, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. It's gonna help this channel. It's gonna help me reach more people like you looking for good Pilates. So a couple things that you're gonna need for today's session: your box, a pad for kneeling, if you need, of course, and let's have your maple pole handy. If you do not have one of these, no worries, I'll provide you with an option, but just have one of these handy just in case, if you have it, of course. Okay, so for springs, I wanna go pretty decent with footwork for today. So I have on 4 springs. I'm gonna do 2 mediums and 2 light springs. That could be 3 medium springs on some of your carriages, but for my balanced body people, that is 2 reds, a blue, and a yellow. My headrest is up in my favorite position, foot bar up in your footwork position, box, have all these things, and go ahead and lie down. So you know the deal. Make sure that you're centered on your carriage. Check the space between your hips and the edge of the mat, and also the spacing between your head or your neck and your shoulder blocks. Let's go all 10 toes on, heels together, toes apart. I want you to just take a moment and just find that long line of energy out through the crown of your head and down through your tailbone. Start to feel the base of the ribs sink heavy into the mat. And maybe even find that long imprint that we've been working on. So all a long imprint means is just we're not tucking the pelvis to get the low back into the mat. It's almost as if you find neutral spine and then you use your abdominals to sink the low back into the mat. And if that means that the shoulders roll off the mat, that's fine. But I do want you to keep the energy and the reach out through your arms. Feel the weight down through every toe pad, down through all balls of your feet. And then on your next inhale, press the carriage out. And then exhale, pull the carriage home. Inhale takes you out. Exhale pulls you home, get longer. So if in order to keep that long imprint, like when your legs go straight, like we kind of lose it, maybe you stop right before. That's okay. And then as you bring the carriage in, it almost feels like you might have to stick the booty out just a little bit, just to keep the tailbone long. Because I feel like the temptation is you want to tuck as the carriage goes out. Inhale out, exhale pulls you home. Just start to go through your Pilates checklist here. What's going on with your feet? What's going on with your toes? Is there equal weight between right and left? Are the ribs still weighted into the mat? Do you still have a reach out through your arms? Last one here. And then drag the carriage home. Let's come up onto the arches. Legs are zipped up as you possibly can get them. Now, before we press out, I want you to flex the feet, push the heels under the foot bar, and now without letting the heels lift, curl your toes over, keep your legs zipped up. Press the carriage out, and then pull yourself home, pull those heels down and under. Inhale, press out. Exhale, pull in. And all the while, you're still keeping that long imprint of the spine. You might start to feel your booty kick on a little bit more. Make sure that when you're bringing the carriage home, you're pulling down on that foot bar and you're reaching the inner edges of your heels under. Let's just do 2. And last one, pull the carriage in. Let's slide up onto your heels. Legs are still zipped up. Before we even press the carriage out, I want you to get the sensation like you're kind of pulling apart on the foot bar with your heels, and hopefully that can kind of spiral the thighs in towards one another just a little bit. All right, we press the carriage out. Keep the pull apart on the foot bar as you pull the carriage home. And it's not so much that we're trying to slam the knees together. It's more of just trying to find this connection with the inner thighs. It's not like this massive internal rotation we're trying to create. And while keeping that pull apart on the foot bar, could you pull your pinky toes back towards your shins a little bit more? All while keeping that long imprint. Let's do 3 and 2. On this last one, think of getting longer as you pull the carriage in. So leave the crown of the head on that wall behind you. Let's slide back down to your first position. Every toe pad is connected. So really feel the connection of your pinky toes before you press out. Once you've got it, go ahead and go all the way out. Soft bend to the knees is totally fine, but if you're like me, if you've got to have that soft bend, keep it as you push the heels under the foot bar and then lift the heels up. So can you do this motion all while keeping that long imprint? And that's where I feel like a lot of us probably could bend the knees a little bit more. That's okay. As the heels push under, the toes wrap up and over. It's just like your arch is on. Let's do 3 and 2. And last one, go ahead and lift the heels, pull the carriage all the way in. All right, drop your headrest down. And then I want you to shimmy away from the blocks a little bit. And then I want you to place your feet on your platform. So about hip socket distance apart here. Okay, and then just make sure you feel supported with your feet, like you're not on your toes or your heels. You're kind of somewhere in the center. Press your arms down and into the mat. Take a big breath in here. And then on your exhale, start to wheel the pelvis back. Find your hips, find your booty, and lift the hips up into your bridge. Think of the knees reaching past the toes and your chest being nice and soft and your neck being relaxed. Now still work the pull of the carriage in as you roll your spine all the way down, down, down. Let's do that again. Roll your hips up, find those butt crease muscles. Pause at the top, and then keeping your chest soft, maybe you could lift your pubic bone up a little bit higher, staying connected to your inner thighs, and then roll your spine all the way down, down, down. Now we're going to do that slant board like we've been playing around for the last couple sessions. So I want you to reach your arms towards your knees, okay? So far that you're only touching your thighs with like 1 or 2 fingers here. I want you to keep the reach out through the arms. And now from here, roll your hips up, 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 and try to connect the front of your body to your arms. Take note of any space and try to see if you can just close that space. Even though it feels impossible, that's just what we're thinking. And then start to roll your spine down, torso down before the hips. Keep the reach out through the fingertips. Let's do that again. Roll your hips up, equal weight between right and left. Drive the hips up into the arms, still keeping your chest soft. Can you reach your arms away from your chest a little bit more? And can you lift your butt creases up a little bit higher? Oh, there's the work. And now chest falls down first, ribs, belly, back, all the way down. I definitely felt a difference on that last one. Let's do that again, all right? Roll your hips up. Remember, this is called slant board. I'm going to refer to it later on. Hold here. Again, reach the fingertips, maybe round through the shoulders a little bit, but try to lift those hips up into your arms. Hold, 2, 3, and then roll your spine all the way down, down, down. Oh, fabulous. Okay, if you cannot grab onto the edge of your mat, go ahead and inch down to where you can. And then let's take your feet up onto the foot bar. So you've got a good grip on the edge of the mat, feet are resting on the foot bar. Alrighty, I want you to find that long imprint. So the booty is heavy, the low back is into the mat. And then from here,
Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Look down at your low belly. I want you to allow the elbows to bend. Let your arms help you to maybe curl up a little bit higher to that stuck place that we all get to, and then roll back down. Let's do that again. Roll yourself up, look down at your low belly, maybe even press your elbows into the mat to try and curl up higher. If you're taking that option, keep your chest lifted, and now lift the elbows out to the side, feel that shake, and then roll all the way down, down, down. Okay, one more time. Let's do that again. All right, we're gonna bend the spine at that stuck spot. Low back is heavy, chest is lifted. The lowest rib is barely skimming the mat right now. Hold 2, 3, and then lower all the way down. Okay, stretch your legs out over your foot bar. They can be bent or straight, totally up to you. I want you to hook your legs or press your legs down into the foot bar. Reach your arms up to the sky. Take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, lift the weight of your head up. Find that stuck spot and hold. Hold it right there. Can you bend your spine a little bit more? Think of rounding through the shoulders, pulling your belly back, and now come up just 1 inch and hold. Can you get the lowest part of your back into the mat, but lift your chest up higher? Ooh, hold on if you need to. Come up 1 more inch and then roll all the way up, up, up. Okay, so we're gonna stay on the 2 medium springs. Take your 2 light springs off. So for my balanced body people, it is 2 red springs. Let's go ahead and lie back down. Okay, so reach back for your short loops. Keep your legs stretched over the foot bar. So I don't care if you're in Pilates V or parallel, it's totally up to you. So legs are zipped up, my hands are above my shoulders, and I'm really thinking of creating space between my fists and my chest here. So it might feel like you're rounding, that's okay. But I want you to find that long imprint of your spine. Get your front ribs so deep into your back ribs, you might even feel your belly muscles kick on. Now, the carriage is gonna stay exactly how it is. Can you keep your low back into the mat and now just hover both legs up, just 2 inches and hold 2, 3, and then lower back down. Your low ribs, keep them into the mat. If you have to have a bend to the knees, totally fine, right? We can do that. Keep the legs zipped up together, sink the front ribs to the back ribs, and now hover the feet just 2 inches. Hold 2, 3, and then lower back down. Ho ho. Are we feeling things? Let's do that one more time. Punch the fists up, sink the back, float the legs, hold 2, 3. Let's lower the arms down, float the legs up to 90 and pause here. Can you still connect the ribs? Can you still connect the back? And now lower the legs down a little bit, float the legs up, and now can you give me just a little pelvic curl to try and lift the hips up 1 inch and then back down. Lower the legs down a little bit, legs come up to 90. We do that little pelvic curl, push into the arms, and then roll back down. You're trying to make this as small as you possibly can. Lower the legs down a little bit, lift them up, scoop from the low abs. Little lift and down. Last one here, I promise. Keep those ribs into the mat, little pelvic curl, lift and lower. Awesome. Let's lower the legs all the way down to the mat, all the way down, to the foot bar. Good, and then float the arms back up. Are we feeling stomach? I hope. All right, so we're gonna do a shortened version of the 100 if you're not already warm. So let's find that strong punch out through the fists, the sinking down of the ribs. Are you ready? Okay, let's hover the legs 1 inch. Now, lower the arms, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Can you find that strong bend of your spine like we did holding onto the edge of the mat? Start pumping here for your 100. Don't let the carriage move. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Do whatever you'd like with the legs, but they are strong and active. Low back is pressing into the mat, but your chest is trying to lift up off of the mat. Let's do one more set. Inhale And exhale, 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 exhale. Hold here for me, hold here. Do not let those ribs pop. Start to lower the legs, lift the arms, lower the legs. Oh my gosh. Whew, hang up your straps. Y'all, that's deep. Oh, let's go ahead and roll you up. Okay. Let's drop it down to one medium spring. One medium spring, that's one red. Okay, let's flip you around. All right, so we're actually gonna start with our knees bent. And there's a pretty healthy distance behind your booty and the edge of the mat. So knees are bent. I want you to dig your heels into the headrest and grab onto the back of your legs. So kind of high up behind the knees. So we're gonna kind of simulate what we did with grabbing onto the edge of the mat, only now we're starting up at the top. Okay, so let's start by sitting up tall, heels are pressing down. From here, start to roll your pelvis back, round back, round back. You're gonna go to the point where your arms are kind of straight. Just be mindful there's a foot bar behind you and just pause here. Can you tilt your pelvis back a little bit more and really feel those low ribs pull back away from the thighs? And then maybe you could walk your hands down a little bit more. So not really letting the chest fall back. It's more about the low back curve here. All right, so keep your low back or whatever part you have into the mat for as long as you can. And then chest comes up, ribs pull back. Chest comes up, ribs pull back, and come all the way up to that seated space. All right, so if you felt like the foot bar was in the way, just scoot closer forward. Okay, let's try that again. Legs are zipped up, heels are pushing down. Start to roll yourself back. Pelvis rolls away from your thighs. Pubic bone back to your navel. Go back to that challenging point. I want you to try to get your low back or your waistband into the mat here, but find that strong chest lift and bend at that stuck spot and hold. 2, 3. Can you keep the shape of your spine? And now reach your arms forward. And can you bend a little bit more? Can you round a little bit more? And then roll yourself up, up, up. Okay, now we straighten the legs. Cross them if you need. There is a palm's distance behind your booty and the edge of the mat. A lot of times when we do this rowing, I feel like we rely on the springs. So I want you to tap into that deep rounding when we do our rowing here. So let's go hands into the long loops, fists together, fists into your sternum. So my elbows are kind of wide and forward, almost like I'm flaring and opening up my back here. Arms are gonna come with you. Start to roll yourself back, 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 and pause in that kind of half roll back place there. Can you bend your spine at that stuck spot? Can you pull the base of your ribs back a little bit more? Now keep the shape of your spine. Take the arms out to that letter T and pause. My palms are facing the wall behind me and I'm really thinking of opening up my wingspan. Can you press the carriage back, staying connected to your stomach? And now we dive up and over, hands go long and low behind you. I'm gonna press my fists into the mat to maybe deepen the lift of the ribs, but also to create space in the sides of my neck. I'm gonna keep all these 1,000 things. I'm now gonna lift the arms. They're gonna open, they're gonna circle around, let the arms naturally rotate, and then reach for your toes and get a stretch, especially for my tight people. Let's do that again. Rings are together, fists into your sternum, roll yourself back. Big bend at the spine. Can you tap into those same muscles that we just found? Take the arms out. Big wingspan, y'all. Press it back. As the ribs go back, dive up and over. Arms reach long and low. Arms lift. They circle around. Reach for your toes and stack your spine up tall. Legs are strong and zipped up. Fists come together. Roll back. You're being punched in the gut. Pull the belly back, pull the belly back. Maybe you go back a little bit further and now arms go out. They press back a little bit. We dive up and over. Fist is still at the gut. Head to your shins, but ribs are lifted off your thighs. Arms lift. they open. Big wingspan, y'all. Big wingspan, y'all, as they circle around to your toes and we stack up tall. Uncross, recross your legs if they're crossed. We're sitting up tall this time, arms up at 90. So I want you to feel like the back of your arms are reaching away from your chest, and then feel your ribs draw back into that imaginary mat, almost as if you were trying to find that long imprint. Keep your long imprint, and now we hinge back, hinge back, hinge back. Could you go to the plane of your hips, keeping your ribs into your back? There's the stomach, and then lift yourself all the way up, up, up. I don't know about you, but I always want to arch back there. It might feel like you're rounding, that's okay. We hinge back, keep the back of the arms reaching up to the sky. Ribs are in, and then lift yourself right back up. Check your neck, y'all. Lower the arms if you need. We hinge back. Think front body to back body, rib sandwich. And then lift yourself all the way up, up, up. One more like that. Think of your head reaching past your foot bar and your toes reaching to your risers. Hinge all the way up, up, up. Awesome. Let's go ahead and hang up your straps. Won't do the full on that one today. So let's grab your long box. Still on the same spring that we're on, that one medium spring. All right, so once you have your long box on, let's go ahead and place your foot bar all the way down. And then we are going to step our feet into the short loops. There's many different ways to get into this, but once you have your feet into the short loops, go ahead and meet me down onto the box, lying down. I like to do one foot at a time. I know it's not the fancy special way, but I will meet you there. And once you're lying down, you're about mid-chest at the edge of the box-ish. I want you to get to a point where you can grab your arms or take your arms and hug on the front of the box. Make sure the straps are also evenly placed on your feet, a little bit closer to your heels than your toes. Now, I want you to extend the legs out just to where the springs close and the carriage is in. Hold here. I'm looking down. I'm going to feel this long line out through my head and back through my tailbone and my knees. Now, finding that kind of slant board bridge here, can you feel the front of your hips open to the box? And maybe your thighs lift up just a hair. I'm already feeling things and my carriage hasn't moved. Can you even lift up through your low abdomen just to feel even more support through your low back? Now, without letting your low back change shape, can you now pull your heels to your seat and hold here? Hold here. Is your pelvis, is the front of your hips still strongly open to the box? I had to check myself too. All right, now we extend the legs back out, keeping the opening in the front of the hips. Just go to where the springs close. Again, heels pull to your seats. Ideally, your legs are zipped up, but they can be slightly apart. It's totally up to you. And then extend back out. If your low back starts to bother, you could always take your hands on the top of your hips or your butt cheeks and kind of traction them down to the back of the thighs. Oh, now I'm shaking. And then back out. Oh, let's do that again. Think of dragging the toes across the ceiling. Pelvis is driving into the box, but the thighs are trying to stay light, and then extend back out. Do you have one more in you? Yes, you do. Let's do it. Up and over, up and over, up and over. Hold. 2, 3, and extend back out without letting the thighs drop. Holy cannoli. Let's shake off those straps. Gladly, gladly. Let's place your foot bar up or back into that footwork position. So position yourself to where your forehead is in line with the foot bar. Your hands are wide on the foot bar. Okay, so just let yourself relax for a second here. All right, so let's re-energize the legs. Maybe find a little Pilates V. Feel the opening of the front of your hips to the box, just like what we just did with the hamstring curls. Now just press the carriage out and hold here. Are your hips still opening to the box? And then bend the elbows wide, come all the way home. I don't care if the legs are high or low, they're just reaching behind you and zippered up. Elbows bend wide, upper back opens. Just stay with this a couple more times. I know it's a super light spring, but this is more about finding the support through your legs and your low belly. Now keeping the sides of your neck long, press the carriage out. Hold here, we're gonna keep the arms straight. You're gonna press into your palms, let your chest lift, let your belly lift, let your ribs come with you. As you bring the carriage in, find your extension, roll the chest open, and then we take the gaze back down. Think of rounding up and over as we come down to the box. Elbows bend wide, we press it back out. Now this time, all right, stay connected to your legs, but could you now lift your low belly up off the box? Just imagine. And maybe your upper belly, and then maybe your ribs, and then maybe your chest, and we kind of roll out into your extension again. And now when you come down, I want you to nod your chin. Think nipples hitting the box before your belly, no matter who you are or what you are. Bend your elbows wide, bring the carriage in, press it out again. Stay connected to your legs and your hips, low belly, upper belly, chest, ribs. We kind of roll out, roll the chest open at the top, nice broad collarbone, nod your chin, round up and over, lift the belly so the nipples can hit the box first. We bend the elbows wide, we come all the way home. Awesome. Huh. All right, so let's take the foot bar all the way down. And then let's do our pull straps. Lots of good hammy work. So hang up your straps. Let's go ahead and lie down. Head towards your risers. So again, you're about mid-chest-ish. If you want to adjust, please adjust. All right, I'm gonna reach up as high as I can without moving the carriage. Let your head drape over the box. Let's try to do this with legs zipped up. If your low back is absolutely hating you right now, feel free to separate the legs, okay? So with your heels and your inner thighs together, I want you to feel that strong opening of the front of your hips to the box, the lift of the low belly. It almost feels like you're doing an upside down kind of hollowing banana shape-ish, okay? So keep the lift through the low belly, pull the arms down and back to your hips and hold. So now your chest and head are in line with your hips, in line with your legs. Can you now keep the lift through the low belly and now push the chest forward? So find your upper back muscles to push the chest through your risers, through the end of the carriage, and then lower your chest down, take your gaze down, arms drape down to the sides and forward. Let's do that again. Stay connected to your legs, arms pulled down and back, and hold. Feel like your fists are reaching past your knees and maybe lift them up a little bit higher. And then we lower everything all the way down. Last one here, I promise. Arms pulled down and back. Roll the chest open. Feel like your collarbones are being pulled apart. Hold 2, 3, and then we lower everything all the way down. They just don't get any easier, y'all. They really don't. Okay. That was me procrastinating. Take your grip now to the ends of your long loops. So firm, firm grip. Let your head be heavy. Reconnect the legs. Find your pubic bone into the box. Arms lift out to that high letter T and hold. I want you to feel like you're reaching the pinky side of your hand away from your spine and also your shoulders away from your neck. Now lead with your pinkies. Pull the arms wide and back to your hips. Hold. Now I want you to reach back through your first and second knuckles. Maybe your arms could get a little bit longer. Maybe your chest could go forward a little bit more. Now before your chest falls, can you lift the arms up? Then take them out wide. Chest lowers down, arms stay high. Reach your pinkies away from your body. Whew, again. Pull the arms wide and back. Now we push back through the first and second knuckles. I told y'all details today. Deep work, deep work. Arms lift. Back out to that T, big wide back. Last one here, I promise. Hold. Make those arms so long there's no tension in your neck. Now keep that long neck. Arms lift, back out to the T, back out to the T, resist, and lower everything all the way down. Okay, hang up your straps. Woo. Okay, so we're gonna do a little combination of teaser and our backstroke today. So we're actually gonna stay on the one medium spring, so still in that one red for my balanced body people. Okay, we're gonna take the straps into your hands. Let's do it the fancy way. So I'm gonna take my right strap because I'm standing to the right of my carriage, my right strap in my right hand, my left strap in my left hand, so my straps are behind me. I'm gonna take my left hand into the back corner of the box. I'm now gonna take my left foot onto the foot bar, my right hand onto the box, my right foot on, so my hips are hovering. I'm gonna shift my hips forward. They are still on the box, okay? So I'm not all the way forward. From here, I'm gonna reach my arms forward a little bit, okay? So I'm kind of on my tippy toes. I'm in that deep, rounding bend of the spine. And now with control, can you start to bring your knees in, roll back just to the tips of your shoulder blades. And now bring your fists together over your chest. We're in spring tension. Whoo, bring your knees in a little bit closer to your chest. So we're in this tight little ball. Now arms and legs are gonna shoot up to the sky. Arms and legs are gonna open. And now they're gonna circle around and hold here. So right now my palms are facing in towards my thighs. My legs are at my working angle. Now I want you to flip your palms facing up to the sky. Press your low back into the mat and try to lift your chest up higher. Maybe you start to roll up. Maybe you start to roll up into your teaser. I want you to feel like you're reaching for your toes, but pulling your ribs back. So find that bend of your spine like we did earlier. And now keep reaching for your toes as your pelvis rolls away from your thighs. Woo, pelvis rolls away from your thighs. Roll back, bring your knees into your chest, fists come together, stay in your ab curl. Arms and legs go up, they open, they circle, they reach, find that low 100 position, hold. 2, 3, flip your palms facing up, roll up, feel like you're scooping something up with those arms and hold. 2, 3, roll back. Come on, let's do one more. Oh, these are so tough. Up on 1, open on 2. Circle everything around, reach, hold. Get that low back into the mat. Even if you have to hold onto your legs to curl your chest up higher, flip your palms facing up. Roll up. Pull your pubic bone back to your navel. Pull your low belly away from your thighs, y'all. And then roll back. Ooh, all the way back with as much grace and control as you can. Hang up your straps or drop them into the well. Those are tough, y'all. I know some of y'all out there are like, this is easy. Not for me. Absolutely 100% my nemesis. Okay, box comes off. Headrest comes all the way up. Just hang up your straps that way we have them handy for whatever we need. And now I want you to place another medium spring on. Foot bar is gonna come back up to your footwork position, and let's get ready for a long stretch. All right, so let's get into this the fancy way. If you're on a really high reformer, right, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so I'm gonna place both hands on my foot bar here. I'm gonna really get a strong connection through my arms. I'm now gonna take my left ball of my foot into the headrest crease. So right now, both legs are straight, okay? This left leg is strong. I'm gonna try to keep the carriage in. Could you now lift the other leg up to meet it and hold? My legs are zipped up, and I'm just gonna hold in my plank here. Really think of that space between your ribs and your hands, just like you do with arms and straps, and hold. 2, 3, lift the leg and take it out and come off. So let's do that again, okay? The key, I know I didn't do it perfectly, is to try to keep both legs straight. All right, and not letting the carriage move. So let's do that again. Hands are on, lift up, leg comes up, find the headrest crease, other leg lifts up. Woo, I let the carriage move that time. That's okay. We hold, lift your heels up high, and then feel that the tailbone is long. Oh, here's that pull straps position that we were on the long box, y'all. Press the carriage out with strong arms, strong legs. Keep the lift up through your upper abdomen,
And then as you pull the carriage in, think of your belly button going past the foot bar. Let's do that again. Sides of the neck stay long as the carriage goes out. And then exhale, pull yourself in. One more. Strong legs, strong waist, and then pull the carriage in. Go ahead and lower the knees down. Shift your feet up against the shoulder blocks. Okay, get as strong a connection through your heels as you possibly can, meaning we're trying to connect as much of the foot to the shoulder block as we can. Hands are still wide on the foot bar without moving the carriage. Can you bring your pelvis forward and find a little bit of extension and pause here? So even here, could you create more space between your chest and your hands? Feel the lift of those front hip points up to your ribs. Have you lost the connection to your heels? Oh, it's like whack-a-mole. Now we press the carriage back. Now stay connected to your heels and your seat as you pull the carriage in, getting longer, taller, taller. Again, press it out. Find a little bit more weight into the pinky side of your hand here, and then pull the carriage in, in. Again, press it out, inhale out. Keep your chest and your gaze forward and up. Lift to come back in. Last one. Maybe find a little bit more inner thighs. Now, once the carriage is in, keep it in. Drop your head and lift yourself up. Place your heels halfway down the shoulder blocks. Do not be afraid to dig your heels into the blocks. Alrighty, find a big, big rounding bend of your spine. Keep your upper body where it's at. Press the carriage back to where your hips lower. Keep the strong push back through your heels. Now pull the carriage in so your chest goes past the foot bar. And when you feel like you can't go any further, you pull the carriage in through your heels and your belly and then roll your hips back. Let's do that again. Press it back. Hips lower. So it's kind of like our long stretch, but now we're more in an ab curl position. We pull the carriage in, keeping the lift up through the low belly. We undulate our spine and hips up. We press the carriage back. We pull the carriage in, break that bar, y'all. Pull it apart. And then roll yourself up, 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 up. Now we press the carriage back. Alrighty. Can you round your spine, lift up through the bottom rib? And now I want you to bend your knees like you were pulling your knees in towards your ears and then press the carriage back. Pull the carriage in, lift the knees to the ears and press it back. So really curl that tailbone under, lift the belly off the thighs as they come in. Let's do 3. Keep your heels connected. And 2. Last one. Awesome. Let's end the same way we started. Pull the carriage in, all the way in, slide your feet down. Probably a bad cue on that last one. Forgive me if that one confused you. Shake out your hands. Almost said heels. Alrighty. So I want you to drop your head, puff up your back. Find half of your weight forward in your arms, half of your weight into your legs. I kind of want it to be a challenge to dig the back edge of your heels into the mat. Okay, can you from here lift your toes? Curl your spine more. Tuck the tail. Oh, I just lost the connection to my heels. We got this. Press the carriage back just 2 inches and pull it under you. Press it back 2 inches and pull it under you. So as you're doing this, you are trying to lift up through your center spine as your tailbone drops and the carriage goes back. Think of rounding in your low back rather than your upper back. Let's do 2. A last one, pull the carriage in, pause here, bring your right knee into your chest. Think of it going in towards your right ear. Drop your head, press the carriage back, pull it under. Press it back, pull it under. So each time that carriage goes out and in, can you pull the knee and the thigh up closer to your body, up closer to your body? For 2 and 1, pull it in, place the foot down. Bring your left knee into your left ear.
Check your neck, check your shoulders, y'all. Pull apart on that bar. Press it back, pull it under. Press it back, pull it under. Think of digging that back heel into sand as you pull the carriage in. For 4. Lift the belly off that thigh. 3 and 2 and 1. Place the foot down. Awesome work. Let's go ahead and step off. Shake out the wrists. Okay. So another fancy way to get into stomach massage. You don't have to do it if you want, but I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna walk you through it today. So I'm gonna place my left hand on my left shoulder block. So obviously I'm to the right of my carriage. I'm gonna bring my left foot up onto the foot bar. My right hand is gonna come onto the other shoulder block. My other foot comes on. So I'm in a little Pilates V, my toes are on. I'm gonna shift my hips forward, a little bit closer than that. So I'm gonna be in a really uncomfortable position forward. Now I'm gonna take my hands, grab onto the front edge of the mat here. So kind of like how we did earlier, I want you to let your elbows bend to pull your chest forward. Think of your head going past your hips, almost to your shins. But now, can you pull your low belly away from your thighs? Can you round the spine more? Can you lift the pubic bone up to the navel? Does that deepen the stretch? I hope it does. Now keep all those things. Press the carriage out. Keep your head going forward. And now lower the heels under. Lift the heels up. Pull the carriage in. Think pubic bone to navel, head to your heels. Press it out. So even though we're rounded here, we're not compressed, we're not sinking. There is constant lift, and that's what's great about this arm position, is I can really feel opposition up through my stomach and my back. One more here. Press it out. Find that deep bend of the spine as you pull the carriage in. Now, start to stack your spine up tall. Reach the arms forward. Can you circle them around? Find the blocks. If not, you can take your hands down to the mat. I don't care where your fingertips are pointing to, but let's go ahead and press the carriage out and hold. Alrighty. So here, it might feel like you have to stick the booty out. Think of pushing away the foot bar and rolling your chest open. Elbows can be bent or straight. It's totally up to you. Now I want you to keep the lift of your spine and your waist. And now as you bend the knees, you pull the carriage home. You get taller, 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 and then press it back out. So before we come in on this next one, I want you to imagine your back is up against a wall, okay? So as you pull the carriage in this time, think of pulling your low back away from the wall. Pull your low back away from the wall, away from the wall, away from the wall, and press it right back out. I'm hoping that made a difference. Now keep the carriage out. You lower the heels under the foot bar. You lift the heels up. As you come in, pull the low back away from the wall, pull the low back away from the wall, and press it out. 2 more. Lower, lift, get taller, and out. Last one, pull it in, 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 in. Now keep the carriage in without collapsing. Could you lift the arms? Woo, circle them around. Now keep reaching your fingertips past the foot bar. Just press your hips back to straighten the legs. Hold. Remember that wall behind you. It's chasing you. Pull your low back away from the wall. Pull your booty, not your booty, I guess your butt crack away from the wall. And now bend your knees, pull the carriage in, keep reaching forward, press it out. Pull your low back away from that wall and bring it in. Inhale, press it out. Keep getting taller in the waist, y'all. Exhale, pull the carriage in. Last one, press it out. And pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. Now press it out. I want you to lift and twist to the left. Keep your right arm reaching past the foot bar, past the foot bar, past the foot bar. Swivel back to center, bend your knees, come home. Press it out, lift and twist to the right. Big wingspan, y'all. Reach past the foot bar. Pull your butt crack away from that wall. So many things, y'all. Bring it in. Woo! Reach and twist. Length on the sides of your neck, y'all. And come back home. 3 more reps. Reach, 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 reach. Equal weight into your hips. Last 2 reps. Reach, reach, reach. Back home. Big wingspan. And come home, grab onto the foot bar. Separate your heels. And now press it out. If you like, you can do a little
prance with the heels. But I want all of you to find that opposition, like back through that stuck part of your spine. And breathe down into those tight places. Okay, let's bring the carriage in. I want you to make sure that your headrest is all the way down. Oh, that felt so good though. All right, so short spine, inversion. Make sure that when we do this, the weight is going into your shoulders and not your head and neck. So another little fancy transition here, and it's also kind of a test. I'm kind of holding on to where my straps converge into one. I'm not gonna let the carriage move. And then I'm gonna see if I can roll my hips up and take my feet to my short loops. And I'm just gonna pause here, and I'm just gonna make sure, like, am I in my neck? Am I lifting up through my hips and finding my belly muscles? And then take my feet out, and then use control to roll my hips back down. All right, so let's do that again. We kind of played around with this in the beginning with straight legs, so let's see if we can do it here. So I'm gonna roll my hips up, carriage doesn't move. And then I'm gonna see, can I lift my hips up maybe a little bit higher, keeping space between my chin and my chest. And then I'm just gonna roll back down, roll back down. Okay, I'm liking this. Let's do that again. Roll my hips up. Think of hips going up, ribs pulling away from my chest. And now take your feet into the straps. Make sure they're closer to your heels than your toes. Pull your heels to your bottom and roll down like a little ball. All right, make sure that you're centered. We haven't wiggled off to the right or to the left. I want you to plant your arms down and into the mat. Find that long imprint that we did in the very beginning. Heels together, toes apart. Keep your long imprint, and now press the legs out to your working angle, and then bend the knees right back in. Again, press it out, and then bend back in. Okay, last one like this, press it out. Now when you bend the knees in, right, we just did this, so can we try to roll the hips up, up, up. Push into the arms, push into the arms. Maybe relax the neck a little bit more, and now pull your heels to your seat and then roll down like a little ball. So I know I said short spine, we're just kind of reversing and breaking things down. So press the legs back out again. Pull the knees in towards your chest. Now, can you keep your heels and your bottom close together and now try to roll your hips up as opposed to doing this kind of slinky action? And again, deepen the bend of your spine, go to that stuck place. And now roll down like a little ball, massage the back all the way down. All right, now let's do the full. Hips are heavy, press the legs out. Legs are gonna come up and over, up and over. Arms get heavier, carriage closes if you can. Keep the lift of your hips, bend your knees in towards your ears, in towards the blocks. Maybe you even touch the blocks. And now pull your heels to your bottom and roll down like a little ball, little ball, little ball, little ball. Awesome, hips hit, press the legs out. Legs come up to 90 first. We did this in the very beginning, okay? So can you find your abdominal muscles here, maybe even a little booty connection? Press into the arms, start to roll your hips up, reach up into the straps, find a baby jackknife, then guide the legs down. Carriage comes closed. Keep the lift of the hips. Bend the knees into the blocks, in towards your ears. Pull your heels to your bottom and then roll down like a little ball, little ball. Awesome. Okay. So let's now take the straps off. Bring the carriage in. Let's hang those guys up. Okay. So let's now roll you up. We're gonna take one medium spring off. So right now I have one red spring for my balanced body people. I'm gonna place my headrest back up and I'm gonna come kneeling on my carriage for some front arms. All right, so kneeling on your carriage, facing your foot bar, just like we did for our down stretch. I want you to get as good a connection through your feet on the blocks as you possibly can. Let's reach back for your long loops. Okay, so I'm gonna come up to my active kneeling position. Hopefully no knees are popping like mine. All right, so I'm gonna reach my arms down. My palms are facing forward here, and I like a soft bend to my elbows. That is me, okay? So before we start to move the arms, can you find a little bit of that slant board here? So that bridge that we did with our arms in front of our hips, can you find it here? Yes, and I don't know about you, but I felt my booty and my legs just kind of come to the party a little bit more than what they were. Okay, so stay connected to your legs, and now just reach the arms forward, just up to maybe your shoulders, and then lower the arms back down. Stay connected to your slant board legs. Arms kind of scoop down and low. And there's a little pull back through the base of the ribs, right? These are your teaser arms right here. Sides of the neck are staying long. We scoop the arms forward, and now can we open them a little bit? They lower down, they come down to our hips, and then scoop the arms and reach them forward. This reach comes all the way from your back. It's almost like your arms were connected at the middle upper back. That's where this is coming from. Next time your arms are up at your height, we lower them down, and then we circle them around and down. How those legs doing? How those hips doing? Are they holding you stable? Are your heels still connected? So it might even feel like you're rounding a little bit here. That's okay. Last one. Now, we're gonna circle the arms all the way around and up and overhead. Bring your thumbs and index fingers together. Tilt your palms facing down towards your foot bar. So I'm leaning forward a little bit more here. Did we lose the connection in our hips? And the slant board, haha, okay. So now I want you to bend your elbows wide, think hands to the top of your head, and then stretch the arms out. So can you keep the sides of your neck long here? And can you also think about showing your armpits towards the wall in front of you the entire time? So those shoulder blades stay pretty still throughout the whole shebang. Last one here, arms stretch out. Now open them out to your wide hug, and now hug the fists together, pull the ribs back in opposition, and then open the arms out. We hug the fists together, and then open back out. Check your legs, check your hips. Your tailbone is long. There's a gentle slope from your ear to your shoulder to your hands. Last one here. We hug the fists together, and then carefully lower the arms. We sit the hips back. Let's go ahead and hang up those straps. Okay, so let's add another medium spring. So that's 2 red springs. Knee stretches. I feel like I haven't taught this in a while. So here we go. All right, so hands are on the foot bar. Wide, position thumbs with fingertips. My hips are lifted just a little bit off of my heels, and I'm gonna tuck my pelvis and drop my head. Here is that same bending of the spine. You might hear some teachers call it a C curve, but I want you to feel like your tailbone and your butt creases are kind of chasing the back of your knees here. Now, I want you to keep the shape of your spine. Press the carriage back only to where your knees go underneath your hips, and then pull the carriage under. Press the carriage back, knees just go under the hips, pull the carriage under. Press it back, knees under hips, hold. Can you tuck your pelvis a little bit more? Can you lift up through the belly and your center spine a little bit more? And pull the carriage under. Now, if you can go further with your range, if you can go faster and keep all these things, go for it. Gaze stays down. Keep your heels connected to your shoulder blocks. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Pull the carriage in. Okay. Now I want you to find more of a flat back. So not arched, but go flat. This position is arms and straps, legs and tabletop. So can you get that long imprint, the ribs into the mat, all the things. Now keep that, and now press the carriage back and pull it under. One other thing I forgot to say, your hips are slightly back, kind of where you were in that rounded shape. Press it back to where the knees go under your hips, check things, and pull the carriage in. So if you can, again, maybe you pick up the pace. Maybe you even feel like the balls of your feet are digging into the mat as if your knees were lighter than your feet. Keep lifting up through the base of the ribs. Keep creating space between chest and hands for 2 and 1. Pull the carriage in. Awesome. Let's place your footwork springs back on and let's come lying down. Alrighty, your headrest is in your comfortable position. Totally up to you. Make sure that you're centered. Let's slide down onto your toes. Hip socket distance apart. So arms are weighted here. They're reaching. I want you to find that long imprint of your spine. So get those front ribs into your back ribs and into the mat. Press the carriage out. And now lower one heel under as the other knee bends. And then lift up into high heels and switch. So now go over to the left side. So your left heel is under, your right heel is lifted. I want you to feel that big, big push of your left heel under, but the right foot is pushing down or pulling down. So that might even deepen the stretch here, but also connect to the back of your right leg. We switch sides. Right heel pushes under, left leg, left foot pushing down on the foot bar, and then switch. So a lot of times when people do this, especially in the beginning, one leg just completely relaxes while the other one just enjoys this stretch. But there is so much work in both directions. That one heel, when it goes lifted, that's your forward propulsion when you're walking. So really press into that big toe. Press into that big toe for 3 and 2 and 1. Lift the heels, bend the knees, come all the way in. Okay, so let's go arches on nice and wide. So there's a natural turnout. You're not forcing the turnout, it's just happening. So arms are weighted into the mat. Ending with pelvic lift. I love it. All right. So from here, tilt your pelvis back. Find that tailbone hover. So it's like 2 to 3 inches and pause. Your ribs are so deep into the mat right now and your pubic bone is back towards your navel. Now keep the lift of your tailbone. Press the carriage out, 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 and pull the carriage in. We press it out. Keep trying to open up the front of your pelvis, especially as you go out. Press it out. Now the next time you pull the carriage in, can you pull in on the foot bar? Almost like your heels were gonna come together and bring it in, in, in. Feel how that just activates things. That's your side splits, y'all. That is your side splits right there. One more here. Ribs are heavy. Hollow out the low belly. Pull the carriage in. Pull it in and hold here for 3. See if you can deepen the shape. 2 and 1. And articulate your spine all the way down, down, down. Awesome. Just take a moment here. Rock your knees from side to side. And that was your cool down, y'all. We did it. I don't know about you, but I feel so much better after that. I got some much needed stretches in there. My back was a little cranky going into that, but we worked hard just to open things up today. As always, I appreciate you being here. Let me know what you thought, what you felt, what you think about this deep focus work, and let's chat about it in the comments. Thanks, y'all.